Are you thinking about picking up the Sony A9 in 2020? This camera's 3 years old, and is it still worth a $3,500 price tag? In this video, I'm going to talk about the Sony A9 and let you know if it's still a great camera in 2020. And that video is coming up next. Welcome, my name's Brian the Camera Guy. On my channel, I review Sony cameras and their lenses. If that's something you're into, consider hitting that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Today, I'm super fired up to bring you a review of the Sony A9. First, I'd like to thank my friends over at Delaware Camera for letting me borrow this camera to review for you today. Let's all thank them by going to theCameraSpot.com. The Sony A9 is Sony's original flagship full-frame camera. This camera came out in 2017 and has been a staple of sports shooters around the world. I mean, look at this camera. This camera looks super professional with all these dials and buttons and knobs. I mean, you're gonna be hard-pressed to find a camera that has more customizable features than this Sony A9. First, let's talk about a couple things. This is a 24.2 megapixel full-frame CMOS sensor. It shoots both still and video, and for stills, it shoots RAW and JPEG, and it uses 14-bit dynamic range on all those still images. That sensor does have a 5-axis image stabilization system built right into the camera. You can shoot up to 20 frames per second in burst mode, and I'll tell you, the autofocus on this thing is super fantastic. More on that in a second. For video, this thing shoots at 4K 24 and 30 frames per second at 100 megabits per second. It can also shoot 1080p at both 24, 30, 60, and 120 frames per second. That 120 also has 100 megabits per second. If you use an external recorder for this camera, you will get 422 8-bit. If you use the internal, you're gonna get 420 8-bit. It does have a built-in mic jack and headphone jack, so you can even monitor your audio if you're behind the camera. It's got the micro HDMI. Now it only has a micro HDMI instead of a full HDMI. Wish it would have had a full HDMI, but I guess micro will work. It also has the micro USB for charging. Not sure if USB-C was available at the time, so you're not gonna get that rapid charge that you can get with the USB-C. Also has an Ethernet port, so you can offload things using an Ethernet port, or it does have a flash power, so you can power a flash from this camera. It does have a 3-inch, 1.4 million dot touchscreen on the back. More on that touchscreen though later in the video. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a tilt up or around screen. It just tilts up this far and it does tilt down this far. So unfortunately, you have no way to monitor yourself from in front of the camera. And the touchscreen is only active for autofocus. It doesn't let you go through any of the menus when you use the touchscreen. So it does have 2 card slots. This bottom one is UHS 2 and the top one is UHS 1. So you can put 2 UHS 1 cards in here, but a UHS 2 is gonna give you even faster write speeds. And of course, it's gonna be even faster when downloading to your computer. The camera does take, like I said, amazing still images. It is super fast. That burst rate is super quick, super fast. I mean, take a listen to how fast this camera can shoot. This camera does use Sony's Z batteries. So these batteries will get you anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours worth of video time, and it's gonna get you a ton of still photos as well. You could probably go all day using this camera without having to change the battery, but of course you always wanna pick up an extra battery as well. Now this camera does have some heft to it. It comes in at 1.5 pounds or 673 grams. So this thing is gonna be quite heavy compared to an APS-C camera. Do me a favor, if you're enjoying this review, make sure you hit that like button. Now, back to the review. Now, let's talk about some of the dials and the buttons on top of this thing. This thing comes with a bunch of dials up on the top. So for example, you have an exposure dial that goes from +3 to -3. You got a mode dial, which of course has a locking mechanism so you don't accidentally switch it out of its mode. You also have your single shot versus your high burst, medium burst dials. That has a lock feature as well. Flipping around to the back, underneath that, it does have your autofocus dial. So you got autofocus single shot, continuous autofocus, manual focus, all right there. It also has 4 customizable buttons. You got 1, 2 up here on the top. On the back, you have your custom button 3, and then down here you got custom button 4, so you can pretty much program this thing to be anything you want. It's also got an autofocus back button up here, along with an AEL button, the record button over here. Now, one of the nice features that Sony did is they did upgrade on one of their firmware to allow the shutter button to be the record button in video. So nice little perk right there. It has a joystick too, so if you want to use the joystick to pick your focusing target, you can do that as well. Or you can customize this whole ring down here as well. You can basically make this camera personalized to whatever you want. That's the one thing I do love about the Sony cameras, is you can ultimately change any button you want to be what you want it to be. Now, Sony has upgraded this camera 6 times, so it's on firmware version 6 right now. With that, they included eye autofocus and stills and also touch tracking. So you can literally tap on the back of the screen while in video, and it's going to track whatever subject you touch on for as long as you keep them in the frame. So if somebody's moving around, you just tap on them and it's going to track their face. So if you got somebody up on a stage, for example, you got this thing set on a tripod, you do that tap to focus, it's going to grab onto that person no matter if they're pacing across the stage. It's going to keep them in focus at all times. Downsides with this camera is there's no flip up or flip out screen. Like I said, this is as good as you're going to get right here. So no flip up, no flip out screen. Unfortunately, if you're in front of the camera, you're not going to be able to monitor yourself and see what's going on. It also has no picture profile, so you got no cinema, no S-Log, and no HLGs. This thing is going to shoot in standard picture profile. But I'm going to tell you that the video coming out of this camera is absolutely fantastic. That standard picture profile, since Sony upgraded their color science, it looks really good. You need less color grading, of course, if you're going to be shooting in standard picture profile. You might have to tweak it just a touch, but for somebody brand new to a system and you don't want to do a whole lot of color grading, that standard picture profile, it's really nice. It looks really good. The other thing I will say is this camera is pretty heavy. At 1.5 pounds, I mean, compared to an APS-C camera, it's definitely got some weight to it. Some of it's that battery, but yeah, this thing definitely has some weight to it. So you're gonna have to bulk up if you're going to be using this camera. The other thing is too, it's got these flaps and they're a little tough if you're trying to open multiples but close multiples. So I do like what they did when they upgraded a lot of the Sony cameras with those flip out tabs. Definitely a nice perk. Those are all the perks and nice things about this. So you're not going to go wrong using this camera, especially for sports. So is this camera worth buying in 2020? I say yes. If you're looking for a super fast, super accurate stills camera, this camera is going to do it for you. It's going to capture a bunch of still images, super fast, super accurate. The autofocus on this thing is absolutely amazing. That is probably the biggest perk with this camera, is how fast it can shoot and how accurate it is. The autofocus is absolutely unbelievable, and the pictures coming out of this thing are absolutely gorgeous. You're gonna absolutely love shooting with this camera if you're a still shooter. And after 3 years, this thing is still freaking fantastic when it comes to those still images. Another question is this a good video camera? Absolutely. That standard picture profile is a nice looking image. Couple that with processing power of this camera, and you're gonna get some fantastic video. If you're looking to only shoot video and you wanna go full frame, I wouldn't recommend going with the A9. Like I said, if you're shooting stills, great camera. If you're shooting only video, I would recommend looking at the A7 III or the A7R IV. You can actually pick up the A7R IV for the same price as this camera right here. You're gonna get better video out of that, and you're gonna get a more megapixel camera. My recommendation would be get the A7 III or the A7 IV if you're looking to shoot video. But either way, it's gonna give you some exceptional images. I would say I've really enjoyed this camera. Now, I'm primarily a video shooter, but taking the still images, they come out really nice, really nice. Can't complain with that. Thanks so much, Delaware Camera, for letting me borrow this beauty to review for everybody today. If you want to learn more about the A9, I'll go ahead and I'll put links down in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave that in the comment box down below. If you like this video, I'm sure you're going to like the video on the screen now about another camera in the Sony ecosystem. Before you leave, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Brian, out.